just close that door? Lee? Thanks, Connor. Okay, guys, we are back. So I'm recording it again. So all this is going on YouTube, as you know. I forgot to record my last lesson, but that's gone for the other section. So if you want to look up what you missed last week, I just forgot to record last week. It's going under Tuesday. It was week 9, right? So Tuesday, week 9 is your Wednesday, week 8. So just in case you want to go back. Also, I've been able to put what we've done till now on GitHub, right? So it's under GitHub, bulk coffee sales Wednesday, it should say. I try to give it the same name so that you can find it if you have to. Okay, so we were here where we were trying to save the transactions that we are doing with the, so the coffee is being sold and then each transaction is being saved. So we've kind of taken care that you can't, I mean, just because I wanted to use an array and show you that array was of a fixed size. If the number of transactions is less than 5, I can keep doing it. Else I kind of give a message that only these many transactions are allowed. If I have time, I will show you that if I remove my if statements and try to save something in an array beyond its size, it will throw an exception as expected, right? So I'll show that to you. So I already know it will do it. So I've taken care that I do my defensive programming. Okay, so here we are. That means the user has now selected a coffee type. We are assuming that something has been selected in the quantity. If nothing has been selected, remember the default is quarter pound. So that's why I took the default. Just if it was not, then I would have to put another if statement. This has also to be selected. The quantity has to be selected, and so also the type has to be selected. Okay. So I would have to do both, but I've just done one. Okay, give me a minute. I'm trying to put a chair on. Put my foot on it. I don't know what I've done to my foot. Okay, so let's see now. So my aim is that I save this transaction, right? And remember, we have a transaction array, but before I save it, I have to look up that price. What's the price? Okay, so now you can use if else's if you like. I just use switch just because it's more compact. So it's up to you what you want to use, but I'll go with the switch. So let's find out what was selected and how much and so on, right? Okay, so let's find the type of coffee selected. We already know what type was, find the, not the type, the quantity. We already know what type was selected. Notice I've already done that. What type of selected, I've already put this in this variable called column. Now I want to find the quantity that was selected. So you can use if else's if you like, multiple if else's, that's up to you. I'll stick to my switch. Both can be done. We've done if else's and switch both of them in a previous example. Okay, so take your selected button string or radio button. The name is kind of odd, right? Selected, it's not a radio button. It's basically the radio button name that I've taken. You know what? I think I can do this. I can do a right click. I can say refactor. You see a refactor, rename. And it says rename selected radio button. Include comments? No, include modify any highlighted to begin renaming. What does it mean by apply? I haven't yet done it. Okay, you can do this. You can go. I just want to change its name just because it's kind of an odd name. I go rename. Apply to what? Let me tell you what the new name is first, right? Modify any highlighted location to begin renaming. Okay. Okay, so let's call it name. That was the name of my string. And let's go rename now. Oh, well, instead of going and looking each where, I just thought I would do it. And I remember there is a way of just renaming something. I'll change it afterwards. Okay, so let's do this. So the switch says, what's the name on your string? What's the name on your radio button? Then the name itself of the variable is very odd. Selected radio button. I should say selected radio button name is what I'm trying to do. Anyway, okay, so what's your cases? What are your 3 cases? You have a quarter pound, you have a half pound, and you have a full pound. Okay, so I'm going to use the, so that I don't have to type it myself. That's my first case. The second case was another radio button, half pound. That's my second case. I haven't yet completed it, okay? I'm just kind of getting my names first. Then it's a string. There. Okay. Now that you know what their names are, put them in quotes. It just makes it easy because then you're not making any spelling mistakes or whatever. That's your first case. Since it is a string, that's your second case. And that's your third case. You could have a default, but you know what? We can't have a default. In the sense, I don't need the case default because by default, my quarter radio button is selected. So if you want to put that default, sure. If you want to revise how default was written, but there it is. Okay, now let's do it. So this says that you have selected something from the combo box, regular, decaffeinated, or whatever. That selected index I've put in my column. And you've also selected the radio button, full pound. Oops, sorry, this was the quarter pound. Therefore, it is giving that red squiggly there. And I've selected the quarter pound. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that row variable and give it the value 0. Remember, my first regular one is the first. So these are quarter prices. Okay, we'll have to change that comment. Row 0 means the first row are quarter pound prices. In this one, we'll have to change that comment. I was thinking it's 1 per whatever. And this is your row is 2. I'm giving values to my variables just because I need them, right? So I've said, okay, if it is the quarter pound coffee, then row 1 is for quarter pounds. Guys, so please change that comment then. Save the prices of each coffee type for lookup. So this is not coffee type. This is basically each row is for a coffee quantity. I mean, from my logic, that's what I'm doing. Can you change these comments, please? So that, they're comments, they won't matter to my logic, but I still want to have the right one. So these prices, these are for quarter pound, half pound, and full pound. Okay, that's what they are. That's why I'm using it, because I'm saying row is equal to 0 if it's a quarter pound, row is equal to 1 if it is a half pound, and row is equal to 2 if it is a full pound. Otherwise, there's more manipulation. So basically, what is it? Quarter, half, and full pounds. That's what it is. Right? That's how it is for each of the type. For regular, decaffeinated, and special blend. This is the easiest way of doing it. One row per weight. Oops. Just how I've done it. I mean, you could change it whatever you like. So these are the quarter pound prices, half pound prices, and full pound prices for regular, decaffeinated, special blend. Regular, decaffeinated, special blend. Regular, decaffeinated, special blend. Okay. So the comments were not right. I mean, I'm just using, as I said, logically it won't make a difference, but because my comments were not right, you will be confused why she's choosing row 0. So if you have chosen from here your first coffee type regular, I'm saying row is equal to 0. Okay, we'll complete it after. I'll do it. Okay, so now what? What else? I have to save this in my transaction array also, and I have to break also. So 2 things I have to do. Okay, so save it, guys. Save it in your transactions array. So your transactions array was called, there it is, right? At what position do you need to save it? At your transaction number. Where is that transaction number? There it is, at the transaction number. What do you want to save? Now, remember, pay attention, please. This is an array of structures, right? So each element of the array has 3 parts: quantity, type, price. That's the 3 parts, right? So I'm going to save the quantity here. What's your quantity? Your quantity is, you could take anything, it's a string. And again, you know what I'm going to do? This will be English like, right? I'm just saving quarter pound here. There, that's what I'm saying. Oops. There. So what have I said? I've said if you have chosen regular, and see, if you've chosen the quarter pound and regular, that's your price. Oops, the value is called quantity. And save that quarter pound in it. Remember, I have to save this transaction. There was a quantity, there was a type, and there was a price. Am I going the right way? Am I doing it right? Let me think for a minute. I'm doing right. It's just how I've given my comments. I'm just seeing if my comments are right, not if I'm doing it right, if my comments are right. So I'm at row 0. My quantity is quarter pound. Yeah, we are good. We're fine. You're okay, right? And make a break. Remember, we need a break in every case unless you want it to follow through. Okay, in the second one, take your thing again. And what do you want to save here? Now this is your half pound. So say half pound here. I'm saving my transactions in an English, like it's not related to anything. It's just a transaction. If you open up the array, it should just say whatever half pound and whatever. You'll say, why are you not saving the type? I will save the type in a minute. Give me a minute. Because I don't want to do it in every case. It's not required in every case. Don't forget your break, guys. If you don't break, then it will fall through. Again, a break here because we have a default here. Remember, default is what? Quarter pound. Default is quarter pound. So you don't have to write it. I'm just writing it because I thought I would show you the default, except that what have I missed? It's showing me a red squiggly on my default. Control cannot fall out of switch from final case label. Oh. Break was missing. Sometimes you have to read your error, right? Okay, so what have I done? You selected something from the coffee type, right? You selected. I haven't yet saved what you selected. I will in a minute. You saved something from the coffee list. Now, what is in the radio button? If in the radio button I have quarter pound, I'm going to use row 0 of my array. If you chose the half pound, I'm going to use row 1 of my array. If you saved full pound, if you chose full pound, I'm going to save row 2 of my array. You'll say, why are you saving all this? Because I need the price, guys. That's why I'm saving it. Okay, so now that I know which row and which column, now let's save it. Now find your price. The price was called sales something. There it is, sales price. What's your sales price? Now tell me. You have a row, you have a column. You have to pick up it from the array. So the array was called price decimal. No, price. Okay, so the array was called price. And we need 2 parameters. We need the row and we need the column. Picks up the right price. Picks up the right price. You have to save this price still in your transaction array and also put it in your price text box. So the text box price was called text box price, and in its text property, display it. Remember we said find and display. Take your sales price and convert it into a string and with a C for currency. If you don't want the C, you use F2 for 2 places after decimal. So find the price and display it. Or let's say look up the price. You know what I should do? Because each type, yeah, I could do that. It will save me some space. Okay. Find up the price and display it, not save it. We will save it, but for now I'm displaying it. Okay, now complete your transaction. Complete the transaction information. I've already saved the type. Okay, now complete it. I've already saved how much, quarter, half, or full. Now I have to just do the type and whatever. Okay, so the array was called, guys, transaction coffee sales. That's what happens if you give them names and you have to remember them. Okay, at what position? At your transaction number. There it is. At what? Remember, it's a structure, dot. Right? And after the dot, notice how it says, do you need to save the price? Do you need to save the quantity? Do you need to save the type? Notice these 3 boxes here, the blue ones. And those are the fields of your structure. Those are the fields of your structure. I've already done quantity. I want to save the type. What's your type? What do you want to save? Tell me. Where have you saved this value? What is the type that the user selected? It's in your selected index. So you have to pick up from that combo box in its collection called items. At the selected index, you have to get that name. That was a string. Okay, so let's try it. See if it makes sense, right? I know my column value. I have to pick it up from where? Or, you know, the easy way out. This is the easy way out. It's a combo box. It's text property. Why go and look in the array? Why even go and look in the collections? Whatever you've selected is in your text box. Whatever you've selected is in your text box. Save it. So I didn't bother to save it in each of my cases because it was the same thing. Why should I repeat the same statement in my 3 case statements? In the 3 cases, I've only saved what? The row number to find out which row I have to use. Do I have to use row 1, row 0? That's for quarter pound. Do I have to use row 1, which is for half pound? Do I have to use row 2, which is for full pound? That's all I have saved. Plus, because the names were different, one was quarter pound, one was full pound, and one was half pound, I saved that too. But this statement, I didn't put in every case. I could have, but I chose not to. Why repeat code? I know it's a copy and paste, but why repeat code? And now save the price. So your transaction is ready. Okay, take your transactions again. Take your array again. At the position transaction number. At that position, in its what property? In its price property. Save what? The sales price that you've just created. There, job done. My transaction is ready. Now I have to put this transaction where? Into my array, right? Oh, which I'm doing side by side. I'm putting it in each position. And don't forget to, before you leave, take your transaction integer and increment it up by 1. Otherwise, you're going to save everything at the 0th position. Make sense? Okay, so this is what the user has done. The user has selected something from the quantity. One of the radio button is checked, but something from the quantity and something from the type. So I find out what have you selected? What have you selected? I pick up the column. The variable column is telling me which type of coffee, and the variable row is telling me which row to use, right? So which row to use? 0th row, quarter pound. First row, half pound. Second row, full pound. And which element to choose is telling by column numbers. All firsts, all column 1 are regular, all column 2 are decaffeinated, and all column 3s are special blend. That's how it is working. So I've picked up the right price and put it in the right thing, right? So if you want me to draw this on the board, as soon as I can find a pen. So this is what I have done. Kind of think about it. So in my array, my first one is what? Half pound. My second one is, quarter pound. And I have full pound. Okay, this is how they are going row wise. Okay. And this is how they're going column wise. Regular, decaffeinated, and the special blend. Okay, this is how I'm saving my data. So my data is 260, 290, 325. 260, 290, 325. This is my 2-dimensional array so that the picture is clear. 490, 560, 610. That's my 2-dimensional array that I've created. 875, 975, and 1125. Okay, now see the picture. There are 3 radio buttons here for quarter pound, half pound. I'll kind of look odd, but okay, I'll double them up. And full pound. Okay, that's what you're choosing from here. So if you select this, row number 1 is selected. If you select this, row number 2 is selected. If you select this, row number 3 is selected. That's telling you your row. Okay, so that's telling you your row. What about column? Your combo box. What does it have? It has regular, it has decaffeinated, and it has special blend. Okay, what you select from here tells your column number. If you select the first one, column is 0. If you select the second one, column is 1. If you select the third one, the column is 2. So I have a row, I have a column. And what do I select from this array called price, I think? I see. That's what I'm doing. Make sense now? Right? So this is what I declared. Each row has a particular quantity associated with it. And then each column has a particular type associated with it. So that's what I've done. So what did you select from here is your column. What did you select from here is your row. And then all you pick up is from this double dimensional array price, pick up the position at row and column. You have your price. And then save it in a transaction element, right? So remember that transaction that you have has 3 parts. Save the quantity, save the price, and save the type. The sequence is not important. I mean, it's just a structure. So I save the quantity here, I get it from here, the row value, right? And I don't say row, I don't put 0, 1, 2, it doesn't make sense. I put a name. Do I want quarter pound? Do I want half pound? Do I want full pound? In the type, I don't save column. I don't want to put 0, 1, 2. But what do I save in the type? Whatever you've selected will come in your text box here. I've saved it here. Regular, decaffeinated, special. And the price I've calculated from here. I see it. My transaction is saved. That's what I've done, right? Now, if I was also saving it in a list, it's not a big deal at all, but this is how you will do it in a list. I'm not using a list, but we'll say save in list. Remember, we have a list too going on. We have a list also going on. How do you save it in the list? We'll take a variable of type coffee sale. Take a local variable, please, of type coffee sale. Remember that coffee sale. I'll just call it coffee. CS. Oh, that's a bad name. CS transact. No, don't want to call it. Oh God. Sale. Right? I'm now taking this sale also. That's a variable of type structure. 3 parts to it. How do I save it in the list now? So the list one doesn't make sense that you're doing transactions should be less than 5, but I mean, I'm just showing you how would you save it in a list. Okay, so how will you save it in the list now? So you have that variable called sale, right? We just created it. It has 3 parts. It has a price, it has a quantity, it has a type. It has a quantity, it has a type, and it has a price. Right? There are 3 things to it: sale type, sale quantity, and sale price. Now, whatever you have in type here is also in here. So this is the same information. Whatever you have in type here should also be here. Whatever you have in price here should also be here. Now, what about quantity? Now, the quantity depends upon what? The quantity you will have to pick from here. You will have to pick this up from here. Can't come here. Why? Because it depends on what you chose. So before the break, put it here. Before the break, put it here. Because its value is variant, right? And put it here. Therefore, it goes in there. And what do you put it? What do you put inside it? Whatever you've put inside here, quarter pound. This is quarter pound. You're just saving the value, right? This is quarter pound again. This is full pound. Half pound is here. And this is full pound here. Notice how I'm going to save it in a list. It's not very different, but still it is different in the sense you have to know how to do it. Okay, so I created a sale variable. It's kind of an odd name, but this is sales price, this is sale. It is a sale, right? In its quantity, I put whatever you've put here. And at the end, I put it here. How do you add it to the list? Do you think you know how to add it to the list? It's a list. What was your list called? It was called something like transaction coffee sales list. What do you think I would have? An add method. And what should I be adding to it? Sale. Great, job done. Gets added to the list. Gets added to the list. So create your sale type. Create your item first. So I created a local sale item. I created one. Right? You can initialize it to nothing. I mean, I don't want to do it null. Can't do it null because remember, if I do it null, then I can't say dot, whatever. But every time I use the same variable, in its quantity, I put whatever you choose. In its type, I put whatever you choose. In its price, whatever has been calculated or looked up, and then I save it. This is saving in a list. The advantage of a list over an array, dynamic, unlimited in size. So putting it in if is kind of wrong because it's not restricted, but I'm still saying only 5 transactions at a time. But you've seen a list now. My aim was that I could show you a list. So a list is similar to an array list in Java. Okay, what is list in C# is array list in Java. Hopefully everybody knows array list in Java. It's a dynamic collection of items, of objects. Here also, it's a dynamic collection of objects, and the object can be any type. What is my object type? It is an structure object type. It's of type coffee sales. So information is saved. I'm saving it at 2 places just to show you how to work with the list. Information saved, everything done. Now, how do I know it works? I'll have to double check if it works. And how do I check that the transactions work? I'll show that printing. Remember, I have that printing procedure going on. Okay, before we finish, let's go to clear. Do you want to try it? Let's try it. Let's see if our answers are correct. Okay, here. Oh. How come my half pound is on here? I said on load. Oh, I didn't say on load. Oops. I gave it the name of the quarter pound, but I didn't say. Oops, one mistake already here. Okay, go back, guys. Go back. Go back to your code. Go back to your load code, please. Where is my load code? Load. Yeah, just better to go here and double click here. There it is. Set the default values, but here, what was that button called? Radio button something. Radio button quarter pound dot checked property. Could have done it in design is equal to 2. Got that. Saved its string value, saved what was its name, but forgot to save its that make it checked as true. So that's why when I went there, half pound was coming from last time I had run it. Yes. Oh, the sale one where I saved my transaction. Here. Yes, that's. Oh, you mean the I saved the quantities in my 3 case statements.
Okay.
What line?
214.
214. Okay, so do you think you declared your sale as a local variable?
Yeah.
You did. Okay. So you have that declaration, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you've spelled it right? It's called sale and nothing else?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a minute. I'll have to just go barefoot. I've hurt my knee or something. Okay, where is it? Did you declare sale? Okay, let's go up then to your list. Something wrong in your list. Marvel. List is a copies. Oops, where are you wrong there? Okay, let's click on it. Local variable copies the use of unassigned local variable. Oh, you're missing those 3 things in your cases.
Oh.
Yeah, the 3 cases. So you did sale quantity here, you got it in your third case 3. And in your case, the default case. So when it doesn't get a value, so you take the quarter pound here and in your radio button, this one, this is the full one, the default. Okay, now. So therefore it says it's unassigned. Okay. Okay, so what were we doing? Oh, let's run it. We were running it. Because I saw that half pound, I thought something was wrong. Okay, there it is. Every time it loads, quarter pound will come up and it will also save the name of that quarter pound in that variable. Okay, now let's try to do a find. Remember, I should get an error message and the error message is please select a coffee type. Works? My message is working. Okay, let's try to select a coffee type. Let's try to do regular and say find price. I should have $2.60. Regular quarter pound. Right? Let's try to do regular half pound. Regular half pound, $4.90. Oh, regular, something is not working. Price is wrong somewhere. Okay. Price isn't changing. Price isn't changing. Something is not working.
Are you selected radio button text field anywhere?
You know what I think? Sorry, come again?
The radio button text field, or the selected radio button, sorry. Is that updated anywhere?
Oh, yeah, I think I have done 5 transactions. So something was working. Okay, so you're right. I was mentioning it and I haven't done it. What do I do? Okay, what did I do? Oh, I haven't written that procedure that changes it. So it's always quarter pound. So it always says 260. Perfect. Thanks, Connor. So see what I've done. I was saying this when I started and I said some of you didn't do it and I haven't done it. So always I have a quarter pound. See, this is what I mean. Here, look, why am I getting a 260 always? I go quarter pound, I go regular, I go find. It says 260, perfectly fine. I go half pound here and I say, okay, now tell me and you should say 290, but it still shows 260. For the simple reason that I haven't changed the name from quarter pound to half pound anywhere. I haven't written the event handler for the clicking of the radio buttons yet. So it always stays at what? what happens in load. So 2 transactions done, 3 transactions done, 4 transactions done, 5 transactions done. Try to do a 6th one. There. So the ifs and everything are working except the prices are wrong because I didn't do it. So, okay, so that makes sense. So find is working, guys. The find is working. I'll show you why, what is the problem. Now double click on the quarter pound. Double click, guys. You can change the name if you like here, because we usually remove the quarter pound. We just say radio button checked changed. That's how what we do. So we will do that just because it's kind of a better name, right? So what are you doing? You're basically saving whatever you want to say. What are you doing? Saving the name of the selected button. I don't know why it's not letting me refactor it. I'm going to try once again. I'm just trying to refactor it like I do it in Eclipse. Okay, it should work this. Saving the name of the radio button selected. Okay, so what should you do? You have 2 things to do. What I have to do? I have to find out what was selected and what is its name. And this is the object. Okay, so we have to go this way. Take your radio button, call it selected. I'll just call it selected, guys, because I already have that name. Convert it into a radio button. You've done this before. You've done this before because we have to of the sender. I could do it in one statement, guys. I can do it. And I can say dot name here by itself if you want. Just putting it in 2 lines so that it's more clear. What was it called? Selected radio button. There it is. And in here now say, what is your selected? Dot name. There. I didn't do this. That's the problem. I didn't do this. So it always stays at quarter pound. Now, if you want to change the name, we'll remove this from here. Right? We'll remove this from here, the word quarter pound, just because, I mean, you can leave it alone. Nothing tells you to change it. I just want to give it a generic name, radio button check change. When you do it here, please come back to your design and you will have an error. And go and change it here too. Remember, I removed it from there. Remove it from here too. Remove it from here too. You're okay now. Now I'm okay. Now my design will come back. Okay, so this is what I did. I changed its name here. There are 2 ways. Maybe I should tell you the easy way. You could go to the design first, go to its properties, then you have less work to do. Go to this radio button, go to its events and change it here. If you change it here, it automatically changes it in the design file also. Then you don't have to worry, you won't get an error. So I changed it there and I had to go and change it in my designer file. You can change it here. Once you change it here, it automatically changes it in your designer file. Then you don't get an error. Now what do you have to do? Go to your half pound also, guys. And in its check change, please choose the same event handler. Go to your full pound. And in its check change, please choose the same event handler. Do you now see why I changed its name? So that it has a generic name. That's why I changed it. That's all I do. Okay. So that way I don't have to call it radio button quarter pound. I mean, you could leave it. It's not a rule that you have to do. It's just be. Because names should be meaningful. So now I have related all 3 radio buttons with all 3. Now it should show me the right price. Okay, let's start now. We start with quarter pound and let's do regular. Find the price. Oops. 260, 290, 490. Oh yeah, regular. Okay, regular. Fine. 490 and 875. Right? Regular. All 3 regular prices. Let's go second column. Decaffeinated. 975. Half pound. 560. Quarter pound. Oops, sorry. Only 5 transactions are allowed. I made the 5 transactions. Can do more. If I was using a list, I would have been fine. I could have gone on forever. But remember, that list also is inside the if. So it doesn't work. You'll say, let's remove the if and see, then my array won't work. I mean, I have a problem one way. And it will throw an exception, which is okay. So it is working, right? I haven't written clear yet. So what should you do in clear? We have to clear these boxes and bring it back to quarter. Okay, let's write clear then. Exit is working. Print, I've already given you the code. Double click on clear, please. Okay, so let's clear the input. And the output price. Remember, we only have one output. And also bring back to default. Clear the inputs And the other way is check your quarter pound. That was what was checked. That's what was checked by default when you started. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do your clear now. If I can remember the names. The radio button was radio button. We want to make that checked. Okay, we want to make that check. What else was your input? Your coffee combo box. Take your combo box, take its selected index, make it what? 1. Sorry, -1. Selection gone. Or you can say text is equal to string.empty. I prefer this way because the value of selected index has to be changed. Otherwise, again, it will remember it or whatever if it's global, right? Third, what was it? Price, your price box, your price test box. Oh, starts with the text box. There it is, text box price. In its text, you can clear it. It's a text box. You can do a clear method. There. Anything else? I brought that to, yeah, we are good. Those are the only 3 things, right? Anything else in your form? Oh, focus back. We always have to, what am I doing here? Speaking to her quickly. Make the checked property as true. There. C capital. Okay, where do I bring the focus back? I can bring it to my combo box if I like, because this is already selected, right? You can. Okay, so what was that coffee combo box? Combo box, coffee, dot focus. Anything else? What else did we have on our? Oh, that string we are using, the radio button. What was it called? Radio button. Selected radio button. Yep, selected radio button. It's what was it called? It was a string, right? This name is so confusing. I better change it. Let me not put the quotes first. Let me first put the quarter something it was called. There it is, radio button quarter pound. Don't type it in yourself, guys. You will always make a mistake. There, forgot to do that. Can't do without it because it's a string. If it was even a radio button, I had to bring it back to whatever. So I'm using a string here. I'm going to do a control F. It's really irritating me. I'll find out I'll find out what it is called. There is a way of doing it. And this is a bad way of doing it. We know that. But anyway, I'm going to say no. Oh, there should be a replace also. It says find next, find previous, find all. Is there a different one or find and replace? Okay. Though there is the refactor is easy. Find and replace, find and replace. Quick find, quick replace, find in files, replace in files. Okay, maybe that's easy. Find what? Oh, find what? Control V. Oh. No, please. Can't see what the name was called. Okay, so let's try again. Edit, find and replace. Replace in files. How can I minimize that? Pin it, maybe? No? Where is my minimize button? Do you see it? I can't. That's strange. Once I make it big, can't I make it small? I should be able to. Okay, the only thing I can do is I'll have to copy it first. What was it called? Selected radio button. Control C. Okay, let's try it again now. Find and replace. Edit, find and replace. Replace in files. Selected radio button, replace with, what do we want to call it? Name maybe? Look in entire solution. Yeah, okay. Find options, find next, replace all. Caution to enable undo all files where a match is found must be opened for editing. Okay. Let's close this. But there is a way. You should be able to do it by doing a right click, and refactor was available in Eclipse. I see a rename here. I don't see a refactor. F2. Okay. You must rename and identify. I'll look at it afterwards. I was just trying to do it Eclipse way. Refactor and it changes it everywhere. It's so easy. I'm sure this ID will also have it. I just don't know the right place. I just changed the name of that variable because it was really irritating me. It was not the right name. Selected radio button didn't make sense. It was the name of, oops. It was the name of that radio button. So I just changed it. It's not up to you. Okay, everything should work now. Okay, now lastly, please open up uncomment your code from the print. Uncomment it. Shall I refresh your memories? How do we write? How do we kind of do printing? Okay, let me refresh your memories. Since there is only one type of document I'm printing, I don't have more than one pages, not more than type of pages. I just want to print whatever transaction array. That's all I'm printing, right? So I got one print document in my component array. And for preview, I also got preview. And what is happening here, you will notice that it says print, but inside the print procedure, if you go inside the print procedure, I'm doing a preview. That's all I'm doing. So that if you have to print, you can go ahead and print it, but I'm doing a preview. Okay, so now this variable, we called it, we removed the word integer from back of it. It's an old convention that you put the type. Okay, so set that, uncomment it, please. What is it saying? It's saying if you have more than 0 transactions, only then there is something to print. It is going to set up your print preview document and it is going to show it on the screen. If you wanted to do a direct printing, I would have just written this. I'm avoiding it because I don't want to send it to my printer. I don't want to make 2 options, print, preview, print. I just made a print preview. From a print preview, you can always prevent. Else it will say there are no transactions to print. So that's your printing. Now, how does your page look? Do you remember where we did that? If you double click on your print document, this is the print page. That's what I've defined. This is my print page. This is saying how I'm going to set up, what will come in black, what will be the color, what will be the font, what will be the size, from where will I start, and so on. So if you see, do you have an error somewhere? Okay, so the quantity was called quantity now, not quantity string. Please make that change. This is because I've stopped using this convention. Before, the convention was put the type of the variable with it, but now when you bring your mouse over it, it tells you. So I've stopped using that convention. It was just a little more work, right? So please see that you change it to quantity, type, and price. And again, this integer value, you change it, you remove the types after it. That's an older convention to which I still stick, actually, just because it's my habit. But I've not done it in class at all because it doesn't make a lot of sense now, because you can bring it and you know what it is. So see that you remove all your comments and you take care of those errors. And those errors are really small. Just the names are different. Remove the word integer or string or decimal. That's all you have to do, right? So these transactions are being saved. Notice I'm using a for loop here instead of a for each, just because I wanted to show it to you. So, but see, there is more work. Where do I start? Where do I end? And then every time increment it. And this is just putting it on screen. I'll quickly go through it with you. Quickly, we did it last time. So again, what did I do? And I've shown you both ways. I've shown my list also. See, in list, I've used a for each loop. Just because it's easy. I would use a for each loop in an array also, to be very truthful. I don't want to say where to start, where to stop, and increment it every time. But I've shown you both. I've used a for each loop to get it from the list. This was your list. I get one transaction at a time. I call it transaction. The type of the transaction is coffee sale. And I print out its quantity, I print out its price, and I print out its type. So I've used 2 loops just to show you a for each loop and a for loop. But what am I doing? I'm basically doing nothing. I put this on the screen, coffee bulk sales report, using the heading font in black color at a particular position. Those positions are set by me. Remember, you had top, bottom, left, right. They were constants. Here I've set them. Margins left, margins top. I've kind of used a little different here. I've also given a position. I mean, you didn't need to. I just said start from position 300 instead of 0. You will notice that my printing is a little towards the right. So I print a heading. I print headings quantity. Oh, I've put it in a tabular form for you. That's nice to see. I forgot. I thought I just put it in one line. So these headings, again, kind of give it 5 minutes after I finish. I've made it tabular. That's all I've done, I think, in this one. Let me try. I forget now. It was last week. Let's see how I am printing. Now, if I print without anything, it will say there are no transactions to print. Again, you will say, how does it matter? Let me see an empty page. Guys, again, why should you see an empty page? If there is nothing to print, don't print anything. Now let's do some transactions, okay? Let's select some type. Let's find it. Let's select a half pound, find it. Let's select a full pound, find it. Let's now try to print. Look at how it is printing. So I made not too neat, but still not bad. I should have shifted it more towards the right, right? So this is how I've made a tabular structure today. Last week I was mentioning that making tabular structures are a little tedious, that's all, but I had to kind of go. So I went 300, then I added, I think I subtracted 500 from this. I did a little bit of math and manipulation, but it's not the neatest. I should shift it a little more towards the right, but I've made a tabular structure. So why is it coming 6 times? I only have 3 transactions. Remember, I have 2 for each loops. I'm showing you the contents of the list also, and I'm showing you the contents of the array also. Therefore, it is coming twice. It's just me doing it, just to show you. But there were only 3 transactions made, and there were regular 260, regular 490, regular 875. So at the end of the day, the owner will take out this print, will print the report, and say, oh, these are the transactions I did today. Right? You could do more math with it. You could take a variable called total, calculate your totals, and also show it in the last line. These are my totals. You could also count how many quarter pounds were sold, or how many regulars were sold, how many decaffeinated were sold, how many, you can do all math, right? It's just math now. So if I say find out how many regular, wherever you have that case statement of your regulars, add 1 to that variable. And it will tell you how many regulars you sold, how many decaffeinated you sold, how many special blends you sold. Similarly, if you want to find out how many half of regular I sold, everything is just math, nothing else. Save them in variables and then print it out at the end. I didn't bother doing all that. That was more work. But it's all math, nothing else. Right? So that's my output. I know the output is doubling it up because I have doubled it up. So if you wanted to print, you can just click this print button and it will print. So I just chose to do print preview because it was easier. Not everybody wants to print these days, right? It was just easier. So if you, and then again, you can do more finds if you like. You can do more finds if you like. If you try to do a 6th find, it will say only 5 transactions are allowed. You can't save more than 5 transactions. And now if you print again, you should have 10 records. There should be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then again 5, just because I'm printing it twice. You can put it in comments. I just wanted to show you, right, that it is not done, right? Now, if for whatever reason you forget your if statement, so everything is working. Oh, you can do this actually, you know, we can do this. Not a big deal, just because I'm printing. Double click on your exit, please. Before you terminate, ask the user. Confirm if user wants a print. Just to make it a little more user-friendly, that's it. I mean, the application user-friendly. So you can take a dialog result variable, call it confirm, ask from the user, do you want to print before you exit? Uh-oh. Take your message box.show and ask the user, do you want to print? Just so that you can see another message box and so on. So want to print the transaction report, or basically, I mean, I'm just calling it transactions report, but I mean, you could call it anything. Okay, so what would you like to call it? Let's give it transaction report as the heading, or you can call it printing transaction report. And now you can do with an OK button. Remember, you have to do a yes or a no, or a cancel also if you like, but I'm exiting anyway. So, and then we'll use a message box icon of question mark. And then if you like, you can make one of the buttons as default. And I'll just make the button 1, the yes button. The user says, yes, I want to print. Now, how will you print? You won't write that whole thing again. You don't want to. So if your confirm was yes, that's how you, okay, what should you do? Think about it. Just logically, what would you do? What should you do? If the user says yes, yes, I want to print, what should you do? You already have a method that is printing. Just call that method. That's all you have to do. Just call it. Where is that printing method? That printing method is called, here it is, button print click. Call it. You're basically sending the code, you're sending the control there. Of course, we'll have to change things. I can't say object here. I can't say the type here. Call it. It will print before it exits. And if you say no, it won't print before it exits. This is just saying yes or no. The user says yes or no, and I took yes as my default button. You don't have to make anything as your default button. I just took yes. You could say no, I don't want yes, I want to say no before you exit. Make it button 2. You could do a cancel, but the cancel is useless for us, right? Because cancel says do nothing. So if do nothing, then it will exit anyway. So I went with a yes, no. You can go yes, no, cancel. There are 3 buttons you can have maximum on a message box. So just something extra. So now when you exit, now when you run it, and you try to exit, and I'll say yes, but it will come up saying there are no transactions to print because I don't have anything. And then the application will exit. It's just asking you, that's all it does. Now, tell me something, maybe. If instead of exit, I choose this, I choose this, should it be asking me again? Because that's another way of closing, but it is not, because I never did anything for it. But for your information, I can do it. When you use that cross on your form, it actually calls the form closing event of the form, right? And in the form closing event, you can actually now call, you can put the same handler. Would you like to try? Okay, let's do it. So now go to your form, just so that you know. I mean, it's not a big deal. Go to your form, open its events. So there is a form closing, there is a form closed, and there is a load, and there is a activated and deactivated, many more to come. Anyway, what am I looking for? Form closing. Go to form closing, FFF, up there, right? Form closing, double click in front. Okay, what do you want to do in form closing? Double click on it. And what do you want to do here? You want to call the same procedure that is happening where? In the exit. You want to do the same thing that you're doing in exit. So go to your exit button. Where are you? It's just easy to go back here, double click on exit. I'm trying to get its name, okay? Button 1, exit click. Here. And then I'm going to come to form closing. I can come from here since I've already form closing and put it here. Oops. There. Oh, remove this. So when you try to close with that cross now, so you've learned another event handler today. This is called the form closing event handler. Usually when you double click on a form, the automatic event handler that gets created is the load one. If you don't want the load one, I don't want the load one. What you do is simply this: go to your design, go here, go to the one that you are trying to create, double click in front of it. When you double click in front of it, it will create an empty stub for you, like it did for me. It created an empty stub. And then I called the exit in here, the button exit. And you can always go, if you I forgot about it. I always go to my design, but you can always go here and you can pick up you can pick up the print page from here, or you can pick up the variables from here, or you can go to the form closing and load from here. So these are the form events. I can go straight to here. If I go to load, see, I come to the load one, right? I usually go back to design. It just makes my life, I don't know. Maybe I'm just in the habit. Okay, let's try it again. Now, when you close the form using this, it's going to do the same thing that it did in exit. Make sense? I just shared the same event. By default, form closing doesn't do anything. Like, it won't. It's not magic. It does close the form, but it won't do anything extra you want to do. So I wanted to do the same thing that I was doing in exit. I called it from there. That's all I did. Right? That's what I did. I was trying to see, and I don't know why I didn't get it. If I go here, and if I make I was thinking I could share it here. I could share the click here. The button click would come, exit button, I could say share it, but it didn't come up. So I'm thinking maybe the form events are different in the sense they don't share with the other controls. I thought it would come up here and I would just select it, but it wasn't showing anything. So I think the form events do not share anything with the other events of the control. Whereas in everything else, if you go and you kind of click here, you will see all the events coming here. It wasn't coming in form closing. That's what I tried to do, but it wasn't. So maybe it's just how it works, right? Everything seems to be working now. Everything seems to be working now. The only thing that I will do for you is I will remove that if statement for you. Right? If you remove that if statement, I want to show you that an error will occur. The only thing is that removing that if statement is kind of commenting out a lot of code. No, it's not so big. Let's try it. Where was that? Where was that? If I don't put my if, no, it was in my find, right? I just want to show you, if you don't put this if here, for whatever reason, you choose not to. So please comment out. I don't know if you're with me. I'm on line 177 and on 178. I'm not checking. I'm not checking if there are transactions on more than 5, right? Just to show you, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you don't do this, I'm not checking anything. So now I have to go to its if, coffee type selected. I'm going to comment this out. I'm going to do the else. I'm going to do, please, oops. No, not this one. Not this one, sorry. The other else. Maximum transactions. Of course, there is a way to comment here. What have I done? I've removed that if the number of transactions are greater than 5. Every time you select something, I'm just saving it in the transaction array. Okay, now try. You don't try if you haven't done it. I'll try and show you. See what happens. Okay, so 1 transaction, find. 2 find, 3 find, 4 find, 5 find. I'm doing the 6th find. I get a runtime error. I've gone out of range. Why? Because my array was of size 5. So you didn't cater to it. It threw an exception. So now you will say, what can I do? You can use the if like I did, or you can put it in a try catch block and catch that exception. And in that exception, you can write, in that exception, what was that exception? Index out of range exception. I'll create a catch for index out of range and I'll say only 5 transactions are allowed. I can do that, right? Even that can be done. So this, I have a runtime error. So definitely if I have a runtime error, I can't go on. I have to stop. So what I can do, instead of using an if there, instead of using an if, I can also put a try catch. And what will you do in a try catch? Now, something like this, put a try. Put everything that you've done till if in the try. Whatever I did till if, I'll put it in a try and then I'll write a catch after it, right? So let's go, where were we? I know because I've commented it out. There is where my try ends. That's the end of my try. It's the same place where my if is. Now this else will become my catch. What kind of exception was it? It was arrays index out of bound something, right? Why don't I see it? Array type mismatch. Or maybe it's out of bound. I don't know. Out of index out of range. Is it that? That's what it is called, index out of range. And let's call it EX. I mean, I could just say exception and it will also work. And in here, what will I do? I will exactly put this statement here, the message box one. You don't even have to give it a name if you're not using it. But I think it was called index out of range, right? I'm calling it arrays out of bounds. Maybe here it is called index out of range, Java, just Java. Okay, let's try it again now. So I put a try catch now. So what will happen? It will keep giving me this. Okay, let's try it. No big deal. Uh-oh. Invalid expression. Where is it saying invalid expression? Which line?
It's on 244. It's just you have to scroll over to see it. You can click on it.
Yeah, I did a double click, but somewhere I've lost it, I think. Oh, I forgot my, what did I forget?
You commented that.
Oh, I didn't uncomment that one. That's why it's green, right? That's what I'm thinking. Why is it green? Okay, there, that's the problem. Copy and paste and didn't remove the comment. Okay. Okay, there. Okay, so 5 transactions are allowed. Okay, so transaction number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing the 6th one now. I still get the same message. Instead of using an if, I've used a try catch. I could have used an if because I knew what kind of exception it was throwing, I caught that one. Or you can write a generic exception. I've always said writing a generic expression is always a good idea. Always, because you may not know. So you are specifically catching this because you specifically want to give this message only 5 are allowed. And keep doing it. It will keep coming. So you can use an if you like, or you can use why does it ask twice? Oh, now this is what is happening. Because exit, when you say application.exit, It automatically also calls form closing. That's why it is asking twice now. Okay, for your information, I forgot that. When you say this dot close or application dot exit, it calls the form closing event again. So remember the form close. Oh, you know what will happen now? No, okay. I thought it will go into an infinite loop. Okay, I shouldn't be doing it. I will look at it afterwards. But exit is calling form closing is calling exit. It should have gone in an infinite loop, but it didn't. I don't know so how it works. I should have seen that red going on. But anyway, that's what is happening. Because the form closing is calling exit. When I click on exit, automatically form closing is called because form is closing, right? You've said application dot exit. So it again calls that and it calls exit. It should go on forever. I should have a Stack Overflow actually. It's a never ending loop, but it did end. I don't see a red here. So I'll have to kind of maybe read a little more about the form closing. Okay, but that's what I did in form closing, just so that you know. So now I put it in a try catch. I put it in a try catch. I'll put this on GitHub for you. And also of course on Blackboard for you once I'm done. Okay, now your job. Always you have a job, right? So this is the finished product, okay? This is your finished product. I'll sync it and I'll put it on GitHub and there it goes. Now your job is this. So we've done arrays, we've done lists, though we haven't done list in its purity. Like I haven't used it as it should be. I'm still stopping at 5 transactions. You know what I mean? Like, but I've shown you how to use it. We've done a double dimensional array. We've done a single dimensional array. The double dimensional array was like a lookup. The single dimensional array was putting a value into it. So now your job will be what? To do an assignment on it. Okay. So every week, I know it's too much work, but I don't give you a big one. Maybe I'll give you an extra day if that works for you. How does that sound? Okay, good. Okay, so let's go to Blackboard. And you know what? I think I haven't put it on Blackboard. I forgot. Oops. It will take a minute, but I'll put it for you so that you can download it, okay? And how much? How many days? Let's give you a little respite from doing assignments. What is it today? Wednesday. Does Friday sound okay? Huh? Just so that you get a little respite. Anything else going on in assignments? I'm not going to mark it on Friday, I'm sure. Let's give it a break. Let's do Sunday night then. I'll give you a few days, just so that you have some respite. I'm not marking it. I know I can mark 4 now even, but that's okay. So I'll put it under assignments for you very quickly. And then you'll have to download it and I have to remove it. That's the problem. Remember, I can't do it for the other sections, don't see. Give me 1 minute, okay? And download it and then I'll remove it. So this is ICA. They're no longer ICAs, they're take homes almost. Okay, so let's build a assessment. That's ICA 5. I'll put the file, download it, and then you can look at it. I will look at it with you. Okay, so where are we? We are in courses. We are in RAD. We are in class assignments. In class assignments 2016. It's called lesson 5.docx. Okay, display until submission details. I always kind of give you unlimited attempts in case you make a mistake. Okay, so there it is. And okay, what are we looking? What is it today? Wednesday. You have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let's do Sunday. Give you a break. Sunday midnight it's due. Okay? Again, guys, please work on this independently. So you have time. If you need to come and see me, you can see me tomorrow or Friday if really you have to. But you know what? I'm sure you won't do it till Sunday if I don't say Sunday. That's the biggest problem. Okay. Oh, forgot to give it points. I'll just give it some points like 10 so that I can submit it. Download it, guys. Then I'll remove it. You know your date. The link will be open. The file will be gone. So download it from Blackboard and I'll show you what I want you to do.
Take home assignments.
Sorry?
Take home assignments.
Assignments? Yeah. In-class assignments? ICA 5? Wherever you always pick it up from, wherever you submit, it's the same place. I don't change it. Pick up and then I'll remove. Okay, so in class 5, so Packages have to be delivered, shipping, depending upon weight and where you are delivering it, zones, right? And prices are given. So again, if you kind of think of it, it's a two-dimensional lookup array, something we've used. And I've given you all my create a user-friendly interface. There are no default selections and so on. All these requirements are here. Okay, I think I've done it. I can't remember where I've put it. Usually when I do something, I put it in the same one. I have done the message too. I've done 4. I've done book sales. I can't find. I've done 5. I remember doing it. I forget where I've put it. Could be in my personal practice, but I forget now. But I've done it so that I could give you an idea. But it does say you can use combo boxes. It does say you can use, it does only selection is required. Remember, if something has to be selected, why will you allow the user to type in something? Make it user friendly. The user will not make mistakes in selection ever. The user can make mistakes in typing. So if, and I've said that use labeled list boxes or select only combo boxes. Remember select only, we just did one today, select only. Combo boxes for the 2 inputs, weight and shipping zone. Shipping are, I haven't, I think, used a one-dimensional array. No, I haven't. I've kept it simple. Oh, this one I forgot in my last assignment to get you to draw a menu. I made you do a menu in this one. In class 4, I forgot to give a menu. Menu, you haven't practiced the menu. So I just added a menu to this. Right, so Sunday night sounds good, right? Couldn't do assignment 4 with you guys today. We'll do it someday or whenever I get time. I'll do it with you, okay? I'll mark it. So I finished till 3. Now the 4th is the next one. Ouch. Okay, so this is up. Everybody downloaded? Everybody has downloaded it from, I should give more instructions like please, though you are doing, I don't know what, did you do it or not? You know what I'll do? Because I haven't written this comment, but I'm going to remove it, guys, okay? Oh, okay, do it then, please. I'll just put this so that you don't forget. Please download the attached file. Just so that the other section doesn't see it. I'm sorry to kind of always make you do it. There it is. It says when you are done, zip the entire project, rename the zipped file with your name in it. As long as I see your name, I'm okay. Doesn't matter, wherever I see it. Right, so please, the entire project. I was happy only, I think I had 2 problems in my midterm. People not zipping it right. Only 2 people. I haven't heard from the other person. I haven't seen him in class in the 2 weeks now. No, I haven't. Is he in this section? Yes, he is. But anyway, so you all did a good job. Everybody, every file was zipped properly, had a proper name, so I was fine. If it is not zipped, I can't do anything. I don't want to recreate your project. It's too much work for me. So it was difficult. So I've just said, please download the attached file and follow instructions in the document file completely and correctly. When you are done, zip the entire project, rename the zipped file with your name in it and resubmit it back. Please, guys, remember though, only two people are using one is using 2013 and the other person, and my 2013 necessarily doesn't work right? So please see that you stick to Visual Studio 2015 for me. And the other person is using not a professional or an enterprise edition, something else, community edition. That also messes up something in my system. I think I had to download some extra files, though it's opposite, but I don't know what happened. So please stick to Visual Studio 2015 for me. I have 2013, but something is going wrong with my 2013. Something is wrong with my system since I did your midterms. One of you has given me a virus here. My programs are stopping in between. Windows Explorer is not loading. Outlook says bye at any time. So I don't know what's going on. And I don't have time to send it to IT. I've written to them that if you have some time, please look at it. Okay, done? Connor, taken? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Everybody taken the file from ICA 5? All who are present here? Okay, so let me edit it. And I'm going to remove it. So you have a break till Sunday. Because I know I won't be marking it. If I have to mark, I'll be marking 4 now. So my next agenda, I think, would be files, if I'm not mistaken. Right, I'll do files. But any questions you have, you're most welcome to email me and ask me. And if I can help,